The next video in our series shows I'm going to show you how to bind certain AdLizard objects to .NET controls, so that you can do things that are more powerful than just simply list all of the stuff that you've retrieved from the database here. I was just showing in the last video that the navigational portion of AdLizard here, so if I navigate to the document here, I can copy this, for example. I can see all of these documents. In the last video we retrieved all the documents from the system, and if I just paste this in here, we'll actually find that that is the document that we look at in the tree, and this is the name of that document as retrieved by the method used here, doc.retrieveAll. We then looped all of the names of the documents and wrote them back to the browser. However, with that in memory, I'm going to comment or remove this. I'll just comment this here. My other option here is to use some of the AdLizard, gotta stop this. Sorry, some of .NET functionality to do some things a little bit more powerful. So I'm going to drop a drop list onto the page. I'm going to bind it to an AdLizard object, and I'm going to use the data retrieved from AdLizard to populate my drop list. So let's use this one, the drop list, and just put it here. Okay. So this is called drop list 1, no doubt, drop down list 1. And it can stay there until I populate with data. It's just going to be empty. So what I'll do is I'll use the doc method. I've just used the doc method to retrieve all of the documents in the system. Now I logically would like to use those in a navigational environment, maybe including a drop list. So I can use the doc retrieved method to get the data and then bind it to that control. And the way that I do that is that I first say drop down list 1 dot data source. Now I'm going to set that to doc dot data table. There it is. That will populate this with data. There's a little bit more to do, so I've got to say, let's just copy this. I now go like this, drop down that one, and I'm going to say that the text field to show comes from the AdLizard object, and it's going to be the name of the doc that comes from the database. I also need to supply the data value field, so that's going to be behind this drop list. So each item will need a value, and we're going to make that the doc ID, also from the database. Drop down list then needs to be well, that's really it. I think all I need to do next is I need to bind it. So I think I just say data bind, and that's it. Let's see if I got it all right. I'm going to run this again now. Website runs again. This time we should see our drop-down list on the page. And there it is. So all of the documents that we retrieved from the database now sit inside a drop list. But better than that, if we review the page source, we can see that the database identifier has been used as the value for each of these, so that I can submit this selection to another process and retrieve by ID number the doc record from the database.